All right. It looks like we are live for NEKY Now Live. Thank y'all for joining this morning with the Lewis County High School head football coach, Bryan Hoover. We get together every Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. And sometimes we both need to set our alarms, don't we, Coach? I think sometimes it's, oh, yeah, it's Thursday morning, isn't it? But we'd ask for you to visit NEKYNOW.com. That's our website where we feature local interest stories, and I call it a good news blog. We try to promote good story in the area. Ask you to join our NEKY Neighbors Facebook group. We're approaching 600 members there, and having a good time over there with our Facebook group. And also ask you to support Wade's Washing still. We had Wade's business featured last week. He does pressure washing for houses and commercial businesses, and my goodness, I think it rained every day last week. So nobody was thinking about pressure washing. Poor Wade. Sorry, it was bad timing, but he's sponsoring our show this morning, and your house still needs pressure wash. So give Wade Adams a call. Wade's Washing, 606-202-1974. So, Coach, thanks for coming on this morning. And we've got a couple of questions. Our first two questions are from last week from people associated with the program. And the first one was asked by Pudge Stafford, and how do you feel about the new guidelines put up by the National Federation for high school sports there or whatever? And I don't know if he's talking about rule changes or COVID-19 changes or, and it's a kind of a tough question because it's kind of hard to predict the future with this stuff going on too. So what are your thoughts on those rule changes?
As far as the rules go, there's not too many significant changes to the actual game. Anything that makes much of a difference to actual play. There's some more tweaking with the play clock. There's some different rules for spiking the ball and things like that, but they're just minor tweaks. My father-in-law is a white hat, the head official for his own crew over in Ohio. They do some pretty big games. So normally before we get together with the kids and I do any explaining of rules to the kids, I have him sit me down and give me a quick refresher course over the actual, the new rules for the year so that I understand, because that new play clock's confusing. I mean, if you don't understand the 40-second play clock now, then I don't think you will. It's hard to understand. But we'll use it to our advantage if we need to.
Time management's crucial too. So.
Right. If we need to eat the clock up, we're not going to spend 3 seconds on a play. We're going to take all 40 of them. Or if, we've got something going, we're going to go more, as fast as we can. As far as the COVID things, I think it's a good sign that the NFHS is putting out guidelines because they kind of govern all high school sports across all states. So that gives the KHSAA something to fall back on. So it's not just KHSAA making the decision. And you'd see like all the other states like Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana opening back up a little bit more after these NFHS guidelines came out because they do have a little bit of ground to stand on now. So the rule changes aren't very significant, but the new guidelines about the COVID stuff from NFHS are pretty significant because they allow us to do more.
Okay. Pudge is a former player, long-time coach, been around the program for pretty much as long as I can remember, all my life, basically. Has a lot of experience and very, very loyal friend of the program there. We appreciate him reaching out with a question. And that's where our next question came from. And I think you'll like it. A little easier. Where did it go? Oh, here we go. A little easier than the last one there, Coach. And Nick Ruark, former player, wants to know, will LCHS be throwing the ball more this fall? I think you can handle this one.
Yeah, absolutely will. Anytime I talk to anyone about offense, everyone kind of breaks it down to the simplistics of run or pass. And when they hear, I do more of a spread style offense, everyone assumes, throw the ball 50 times a game, which that's not always the case. the reason you run a spread offense is to gain a numbers advantage. Whether that number advantage is inside the tackle box or whether that numbers advantage is outside on the numbers. So there could be a game where we do throw the ball 40 times if a defense doesn't adjust and they don't cover our outside game, our short passes or our deep passes. If they don't cover that, then we'll keep taking what they give us. But teams are eventually going to have to start respecting every person that we put outside the hash mark. Every receiver we put out there. And what that does is that opens up running lanes for some of our big backs to get going downhill quickly. And it really helps out the linemen too, because they're not dealing with 8-9 guys in the box trying to come at them every play. They've got 5, 6, or 7, and it's a lot easier to pick out who your biggest threat is, who you're going to take on if there's fewer guys in the box. So short answer, yeah, we're gonna throw the ball quite a bit more. Long answer is we're gonna take what the defense.
And another aspect, if you don't mind, another aspect of the spread is the pace with which you play. I've got the book over there on the shelf of that Gus Malzahn wrote. I don't know, years ago, it might be 20 years ago now. Hurry Up, No Huddle. One of the first books of speeding it up, and so the spread can come in to pace of play. And one of my favorite quotes, one of the main takeaways I got out of that Tony Franklin seminar that I was telling you about, the offensive coordinator used to be for Kentucky and ran the air raid with Mummy and Couch and Yeast and all those guys. But one of his favorite sayings was, "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." And I always like that because he would talk about getting these these stud defensive ends, and if he lined up on the left side, you're going to throw a screen. That guy's going to have to run all the way over there to the other end of the scrimmage and make the play. He lines up on the right side, he's going to have to go to the other side the next play. And by the end of the game, he was hoping to make a little X factor out of conditioning. And I think that fits our program as well too, because another great baseball coach, Keith Prater, passed away. You probably know Keith's story, but we'll get into that one of these mornings. That's a whole show in and of itself. But Keith had a way of describing coaching at Lewis County. He said, in other places you win with talent. At Lewis County, you win with grit, is the way he described it. So the conditioning and the X factor, the weight room, those are the places where we can make up with our lack of numbers, and just don't let anybody outwork you. Put your time in, and it'll show up on Friday nights.
Right. Which I think the numbers will be there.
Question there, not. Huh? I don't know if there was a question there. A little ramble there. Get that.
I can go a bunch of different directions with it. I'm excited to get the weight program started. That's one of my passions. I've done powerlifting my whole life. One of the assistants, Kenny Kegley, is his master's in exercise science. We're going to work hand in hand to do things, safely and effectively. I've never had a group of kids that are willing to put the work in, not see significant results in the weight room, because you give kids, right now they're developing, so if they do anything, if they do 50 push-ups a day, they're going to see results from it. So if they're put on a vigorous, effective routine, they're going to see significant results. And as far as hurrying the ball up, if we're winning a game, or if we're, it's a competitive game, then absolutely we're gonna try to go as fast as we can and make that other team have to keep up with us. But if it's one of those games where we're down, we're not going to go 3 seconds or 3 and out with only taking 5 seconds off the clock. We're gonna hold the ball as long as we can, keep our defense off the field, keep their offense off the field. So
understood. Really good question. Thank you, Nick. I said that's a good question. I just want to thank Nick for reaching out, and I like it when our former players come on and ask questions. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, David Irie, one of our most famous citizens of Lewis County. He's a good friend of mine, long-time listener, first-time commenter. He just wants to say good luck this year, Coach.
I appreciate it, Mr. Ari.
Yeah, he just lined up. David's got the David Irie show, and it's better than Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime put together. He just booked Arroyo for his show, the Reds pitcher. I mean, he gets these guys from Cincinnati Reds coming on there and all these baseball coaches, and he does a wonderful job with his show. I try to share that in the group and on my profile as much as I can, because I'd rather watch that than I would, whatever's on network TV at 8 o'clock. I think it's more fun. So now last week we talked about the importance of family and parent supporting the players. This week I want to kind of change that up. Your home life, it takes a special person to be a coach's wife, and then you've got 2 young kids there, and they're going to be around the program and involved in it as well. So how important is it that your family, you talked about your dad, your family, your wife, I'm sure your mom supports you, all those kind of things. What's going on with your family, Coach?
Well, it's my dad passed when I was young, so it was always my mom. She did everything. I'm one of 6, so
I got you. All right.
My mom was busting us all around to 7 different sporting events a day, it seemed like. So
all right. Wow.
My family, it's what they do is immeasurable. My 2 boys, you'll see them around the practice field constantly. They are always out. Like my 3-year-old now is, every time I leave the house, he asks me if it's time to go to football. He absolutely loves it. He can't wait to get started. My wife and her family and what they do, it's hard to sit and describe, because so much of it goes unnoticed. It takes so much time and effort to be able to do this effectively. It seems like I'm glued to my phone now, whether it's scheduling meetings, scheduling games, talking to players, talking to newspapers, other coaches. It's just, managing the JFL, talking to the junior high program, figuring out what they're going to do, talking to the assistant coaches. And this is when we're shut down in the middle of May and June. It's, we haven't even got to where we're actually practicing and we're actually doing stuff. There's hours upon hours of game film that gets broken down, and all that time is taken away from my kids and wife. But they do a great job of compensating it, and I try to do a great job myself of not letting this stuff consume me, because it is important to have a life outside of it, and I do my best to kind of involve them in it, so that I can get some work done and still spend time with my family. But I appreciate them beyond words.
That work life. Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do what they do. I appreciate my wife and everything she does that allows me to do this, because if it wasn't for her and the good support system, then there's no one but single people could, single parent or single people with no kids could be coaches, because there's no way to do it without good support.
That work-life balance is real important, and I think something that everybody struggles with if you're passionate about what you do, and sometimes that's our family members sacrifice for that, but on the other end, I think it's made up for it when you call your players and their parents. It's an extended family. A football team or a baseball team, you've got your parents, got your kids, and so your boys are going to be raised by a lot of neat 18, 17-year-old kids, and that's it's kind of a cycle. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of get paid back by having all those neat people around and people to look up to. I think, so there's sacrifices, but it comes back to you in other ways to benefit your family.
I had that conversation yesterday, actually. One of my kids asked when one of the players was coming over. He made fast friends with, my house is just a a magnet for high school boys. It seems like I've got the full basement with the video game set up, got the heated in-ground pool in the backyard.
Excellent.
And then all the yard games we get out. It's built for high school kids. So during the fall and summer, it seems like, I was telling, I can't remember how I was trying to explain it to someone, but the best way I could describe it is I go from having 2 biological sons to having 40 just sons in general.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Throw a pack of hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill and let's reward the boys for all the work they put in. So I can't wait till we can get together and I can start having some of these kids up.
It's been a long time since I had the pleasure of taking the field and everything. But one of the things that lasts to this day is the relationships that our parents had. My parents have passed, but the 3 that I can think of is my dad is E.V. Holder, Chad Clark's dad, Kenny Clark, and then the Kenny Ruckle and Todd Ruckle's dad. Those 3 guys, I mean, they sat through football, basketball, baseball, and not just those 3. It was we had a big senior class. I mean, it was a real tight knit group, and Coach Prater did a wonderful job of kind of encouraging that, and we're still tight to this day. It just something that lasts a lifetime. So, all right, are we still working on the motto reveal? We've been checking on that. I think you're working on a video, a hype video with it. Is that where we were?
Yep, it's in the works. Ryan Bentley is working on it. He's doing a great job. The stuff he does is amazing.
It'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be worth it. And I'm excited to get it out to everyone.
Good. All right, our favorite section now, Coach. Moving on to the rapid fire. We've got a few questions here we would like to pick and get your thoughts on some really important topics here this morning. Let's see. Let's go with the first one here. Early bird or night owl, or both? Sometimes.
Whichever one the kids make me be. Normally the 9-year-old stays up late, so I have to stay up late with him, and 3-year-old's up at the crack of dawn. So whichever one the kids make me.
Right. Just whatever happens there. All right. Let's see. What makes you laugh no matter what? Every time you see it or hear it, something that makes you laugh every time.
This is going to sound extremely corny, but my 3-year-old, he is the biggest ham. He makes the faces. There's no other kid like him, and I'll say that to my 9-year-old's face. He's not funny. My 3-year-old is hilarious. He's a funny kid. I can't wait for everyone to get to meet him because he's a treat.
Good. Need to hear. All right, what song is in your heavy rotation of your playlist there, Coach?
Gosh, that one's tough.
I love these questions. I love to see you struggle.
Yeah.
Make you think.
I don't know. Hit Me One More Time by Britney Spears, maybe? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my. Okay. Still in the rotation.
I don't... I turn Spotify on and I hit shuffle. If I've heard a song before, I normally skip it. I like such a broad variety of music. I normally am a podcast person. I don't know. I wouldn't say I have many.
I'm with you there. I'm with you on the podcast. That's one of my weaknesses. My wife, I can't get her to see the light on, but that's the way I learn. I go to podcast university every day. So, all right. What is your favorite dessert? I don't think we've asked this one. I'm going to have to start writing these down.
I'd say this rotates. Right now I'm on a fruit kick. So I would say like a Dutch apple pie with like the crumble on top, or any kind of like cobbler. But tomorrow that could change, and it could be more of like a chocolate dessert. I don't know. But right now it's fruit.
Now, are you as good of a baker as you are on the grill, or?
Absolutely not.
Does that? No.
Not even close.
Baking art.
I don't know what it is, but baking, I'm not, I'm decent, but I'm not good at it.
It ain't. All right. We'll leave that to the pros, won't we? All right. I think it's our last one. We had one in the group the other day, and it was kind of interesting to see who was your first celebrity crush. You may have already mentioned her there, Coach.
She was up there. I think it was the Pink Power Ranger. The Pink Power Ranger. I think that's.
Oh, there you go.
That was, watching TV, cartoons.
All right, the Pink Power Rangers would be a good one to end on. All right, you got anything coming up this weekend, or anything going on for the football program anybody needs to know about, or what our next events are? I mean, it's kind of a dead period. I mean, literally, right? I mean, it's a dead period, and they've extended that to the virus, I guess.
Well, KHSA is getting together today to talk about all this stuff. So we'll know more after today. Hopefully they follow suit with the surrounding states like Ohio or Tennessee and Indiana and all them. So we'll know more about that today. We've got a plan together when we can get together. So we know what we're going to do. We're ready to do it. And right now we're just kind of waiting on the green light. We've disinfected the weight room, the locker room, and just waiting to do what we can do.
All right. Good deal, Coach. Well, let's wrap it up there. And how about this time next Thursday? Same bat channel, same bat time there. And let you get back at it. All right. Here we go. Good morning. How are you, young man?
He's not used to people actually
talking football?
Back to him.
He's a little shy.
He jumps in on all my video conferences, but he's never used to someone actually saying anything to him.
All right. Well, that brightens everybody's morning up anyway. Good to see him. And your son's names again? I'm sorry, 3-year-old and 9-year-old, right?
This is Grayson. He's supporting his second cast of the month. They've both been red and blue, so he's in the right mindset. He's in Lewis County spirit. So this is Grayson, and the big one's Race.
All right, Grayson. Awesome. Well, you got your hands full this morning, Coach. We'll let you get it. All right, I see it, buddy. Get that thing taken off there. Those are no fun, are they?
We got about a week
They
left.
come in handy a couple times if you.
What are you talking about? Fire. Yeah. All right.
There you go. Fire.
It's been a fun morning.
Well, you boys have a good week. Have a good weekend, and tell them bye. We'll see you later, buddy.
So see ya.
Bye. There you go.